Hey, what's going on, my good people? It's your boy Antoine Smith, Mill Smith Sports Machine. We on the 95 North Sports Machine today, man. We finna take a ride through
Yes,
that front
sir.
office universe, man, because Adam Schefter dropped the bomb earlier this morning. As soon as I woke up
Yes,
this
he did.
morning, at about 8 o'clock, I seen it because it just had dropped.
Yep,
And
same.
it pertains to Arthur Smith's future in Atlanta and Arthur Blank. And the way he's feeling right now, and don't get me wrong, it's just like, trying to hold on to one of your employees for far too long when they way past their prime. That's what it reminds me of. But before I get into that, man, I'm gonna let Chris go and get introduce himself before we get started, man. Y'all know
Hey,
how we
man.
do.
Hey, man, you know what's going on. It's Chris Tip Moore, man. A1 Forever Sports, man. Had to dive on into the 95 North Sports Machine things because, like Smitty said this morning, Adam dropped that bomb. And when he did, I read it probably around the same time that Smitty did. And I was like, say what? So it was just something that we need to discuss as Falcon fans, have a reaction to it and, move from there.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, y'all, let's be real, man. As we always talk about, man, it's all about money at the end of the day. So if he keeps Arthur Smith, I think he loses money. And I think if he brings in a fresh coach with a offensive innovation that can move the football with these weapons, I think the bottom line goes up. So it's two ways to look at this. Either you can
Mhm.
fire him, start over with somebody new, or you keep him and bring in another OC. So either way, I think they can win in this situation. Because don't get me wrong, as I said, man, Arthur Smith has the right mentality as far as winning, but his enthusiasm to me is just subpar. Because when have you seen him on the sideline enthusiastic this year?
Right.
So it just begs to differ.
But like we've
Without the
said,
enthusiasm, they not buying into him. But go ahead.
no, I'm just saying, like we've said before, man, we see him maybe tap, somebody on the helmet with the playbook or the play sheet, should I say, and maybe some get a little clapping, but you never really just seen him just go real like crazy, like you see some head coaches just extremely excited for their guys. Maybe too even keen, maybe too even keen, you never. But I know what it is, man. I know what it is. It's Arthur Blank, I believe, putting too much of his personal feelings into a business decision. Um, let's just be honest. Let's dial it back a little bit and go back to the Julio Jones and Matt Ryan. They're going to be Falcons for life situation. We had that go on, and then anything that the owner says is going to veto anything else that anybody else is feeling or going to do. So you give that
Right.
money to those guys, and then we go into cap hell. What it is I believe Arthur Blank believes maybe, just maybe, like I don't want to cut ties too soon, y'all. I understand what y'all saying. I know I'm losing money. I know I'm losing fans. But if I can just be possibly right about Arthur Smith, a 41-year-old coach who is what I'm saying, who is a brilliant mind as far as offenses goes. That's what the report says as well, by the way. That's not coming from me. It's just maybe if I get him a quarterback, maybe so he can make this offense work. But the thing about it is, man, I've seen too much of what Arthur Smith can do, and I believe that he has reached his ceiling because we're on the verge of another 7-10 season for the third straight year. Look at Arthur's record. You got to look at the totalities of this. Arthur Smith can, for me now, Arthur Smith can win the division right this year. He can win the division and win a playoff game, and I still don't want him. That's just me because
And
I'm looking at the whole body of work. I'm not going to
right.
forget about the past just because things are looking good on Tuesday or Wednesday. So I'm not going to forget about what you've done or what you or the lack thereof just because other teams they fumbled their chance and what I'm saying, which opened up something for us. Regardless, overall, we have a great defense, but overall as a team, we have not been a good team. So we already know the losses. We already can run those down because most of those teams that we lost to was eliminated from the playoffs like 2 weeks ago, and you had losses to 5 out of 6 of those teams. So it's a lot of things that I cannot forget just because you have 1 week that was good with the Colts. Again, when folks tell me okay, yeah, he turned the corner. Oh, maybe we should keep on to him. I'm like, hold on, pump your brakes now. It was just one game.
Right.
It was just one game against the Colts. And then what happens the very next week?
We get ran out the building. Same old thing.
Okay.
Just inconsistency, man, and that's the key thing, man, with coaching. You can't be inconsistent. Because if you inconsistent, that means 9 times out of 10, before long, your players gonna buy out of your philosophy, and they just gonna be doing their own thing. And when that happens, you lose the locker room. And I exactly think that's what's happened, in my opinion, that he's lost the locker room. But as always, man, we're gonna get into the chat right quick.
And my thing is, CP is not one of them type of players that just be blasting coaches, blasting locker rooms. You got to look at the source, my good people.
Right.
The source, CP. Anybody who has came across CP, I've came across CP. Smitty has came across CP. Some of you listening and watching have come across CP. He don't come off as no person who just going to try to expose something or just call out somebody for no apparent reason, man. So that's
he got the right to do that. He got the right to do that because at the end of the day, he's trying to earn a paycheck. And the only way he can earn a new paycheck is if he go out and perform with somebody else, see him performing, and they say, man, we can bring him in next year to do X, Y, and Z. But if he's sitting on the sideline and not really doing anything, what they gonna say? Just
how can I get
paid?
How can I get paid?
It's gonna be worse than that. Can he still play football? Is he over the hill?
There you go.
How much does he have left? Right. So that's what he's looking at from that perspective. But right quick, man, we're gonna go to the chat, and I'm gonna give y'all the article that Arthur Smith, that Adam Schefter dropped this morning. But LAJ, what's up? Rob 2, Mikey, James Moore, he raided down there in the Savannah area, 912. Shout out to him. Swainsboro, Statesboro, all those big cities down there.
2 in the building.
Nat Bush,
like that last name too, sir.
I knew you would. Brandon D, what's up, man? He's enthusiastic this year. Made some good challenges called this year, but how much would you rather the OC route? We're gonna get into that in 1 second. Kevin Henderson, Roach Jackson, what's good, my dude? Kevin Henderson said, if we see Arthur Smith, then we should go out the Airbnb. That's a possibility, man, because that name been floating around a lot. Devin Willis, tie 496. Our boy Travis Preston stopping through. Bob Jeter, Mikey, nephew Isaiah Davis, Game Breaker Media. Y'all go check him out.
Yes, sir.
Meals in 1967. JJ Ayers. This is one of the funnier handles I've seen. Dr. Slick Nuts.
Dr. Slick Nuts. Mm-hmm. Yep.
WCG, Demetrius Jeffrey, what's good, my dude? But I'm gonna give y'all a quick insert. I'm gonna give y'all really the whole article as to what he wrote. So we're gonna play a little school right fast. Let's look at it right quick. Bob Jesus said fire him, and we're gonna get into why that's probably the best route to take. But this is what Adam Schefter wrote this morning. He wrote that Arthur Blank knows and acknowledged that he has a heavy decision to make about whether he wants to make any significant organizational changes. Blank is said to have gone back and forth to be torn, and I don't get that. I absolutely don't. He is a fan of Coach Arthur Smith, and we see that now. One of the brightest offensive minds in the game, but that might not be enough for an understand Pat, which means for him to keep his job. And he made some excellent points during these couple of words that he wrote. He says Falcons have been surveying the coaching landscape. More than what options are out, they should decide to make a change. According to lead sources, one of those names is Bill Belichick that's been floating around, and we're going to get into that too. This is a team that's been built with talent at many places except quarterback, and quarterback is the key position on the field. And the lack of stability at quarterback could influence whether there is stability in the rest of the organization. And I'm going to just tell y'all, without a quarterback, there's no stability.
No
because
stability.
if the coach is getting blamed at one point, eventually it's gonna fall on the quarterback who's out there on the field. And we've seen what kind of play we've had from Desmond Ritter, we've had from Taylor Heineke, Marcus
They're the
Mariota
same
last
person
year.
at this point.
Right,
Taylor
right.
and Desmond are the same person.
Marcus Mariota last year, and then the year before that, Matt Ryan, who was an aging Matt Ryan, but still
Definitely
he
on
was
decline.
putting up numbers. So yeah, it just makes so much sense. But as y'all read that excerpt, y'all can drop y'all comments in the chat and tell me what y'all think about that. But the way I look at it right now, I think Arthur Smith is torn between, probably knowing this kid most of his life, having that friendship with his pops as a business aspect of it. Because to be honest, that's why I see it right now.
That's why I was saying that personal. He got a lot of personal investments into this decision, and it's trickling over into the business thing. That's why you torn. Honestly, had it been me as the head coach, I feel like I'd have been gone already. You know what I'm saying? It had already been you know what I'm saying, in the works. Said, hey, look, we got to find us another coach because you're just not doing it for the Atlanta Falcons, Chris Tip. That's what he had come to me and tell me. So it's just like, this right here has a lot of personal feelings in it. I'm sorry, it just does, because he keeps going back and forth. It was a point in time to where you had an interview out earlier a few weeks ago talking about the playoffs were not even a goal. I don't know how the playoffs are not a goal. Like year one, when he first came in, you know, said Matt was on the decline, as we clearly seen. You had to clearly see that Matt was on the decline. But regardless, we didn't move on. We came in to that season with Matt Ryan. You've seen what happened. So maybe year one, year two, okay. Now this was the time. This was Brucey's time to shine. We were supposed to be in the playoff discussion, a contender in the NFC, period, with this lineup. You see it. It's too much talent, too much. And we did not have any competence. I can't even say we did at quarterback. You took a journeyman and you took a third rounder and you tried to see what you can possibly do with that. Now, as far as Eric Bieniemy goes, I feel like, and I just had a conversation with a brother of mine. He was sending me some articles about Eric Bieniemy yesterday, and I just had to tell him, look, man, when you think about it, Eric Bieniemy is in the same situation that we got down here. They really don't have a quarterback. If I'm not mistaken, Sam Howell was taken fifth overall. Not fifth overall, fifth in the fifth round. Let me not get too crazy. In the fifth round. So he's a fifth round quarterback. He has 19 interceptions, 20 touchdowns. The offense, they're in the top 20s, going toward the bottom of the league. So you're saying that you want to possibly bring in Eric Bieniemy. He's in a similar situation, and you definitely would have to bring in a quarterback. What quarterback could you possibly bring in? It could be trading for Justin Fields, or you could get somebody like a Jaden Daniels and pair those two together. That's something that could possibly be as well, man. So, you know, we have options out there, but first things first, we have to get the coaching situated, whether you want to keep him as a head coach. Me personally, I just don't want Arthur Smith anymore. But if you want to keep him as a head coach, you have to be and Arthur Blank has to realize this. If you make that business decision to keep him even on the team whatsoever, it's going to be backlash regardless, because you got so many people who are like me who are fed up with Arthur Smith. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, it's the totality of what he has done since he's been in Atlanta. And as a fan and seeing where the defense is now, I haven't seen a defense in years. So I don't want to waste them as well, because we know that's one thing to help you win championships. So it's, bro, I'm telling you, Arthur Blank needs to make the best decision for the fans and the team. It's not this is not, let's jump on Arthur Smith and beat him up. We have reasons to beat him up. We have reasons to. And you can't continue.
I'm gonna tell you the key point to what you said goes back to a couple of weeks ago when he said playoffs were not the goal. You know yourself, that's a bold-faced lie. And the reason why I say that, what is the goal coming into every season? have a great season, go on a run, hit the playoffs, and possibly play for a Super Bowl.
Right.
And the thing that pisses me off the
That
most
should
about
be
the
the
comments
goal every year.
is I'm thinking about this is his third year. And as I told y'all, playoffs not the goal after the third year. What are the goals? Because Dan Quinn made it to the Super Bowl in his second year. So that really, to me, that just raised the bar for everybody else. No matter who comes before or after those guys.
Mm-hmm.
If Dan Quinn get to the Super Bowl in his second year, and we all know Kyle Shanahan carried this team, and it's the same exact thing right now. Both of the defensive coordinators carried this team, and this is why Arthur Blank should have one of those guys in mind if he moves on. And I get Bill Belichick is out there. He's 72 years old almost, and he still has a sharp mind for his age. And New England's defense has played great this year. But what was their problem last year? They did not have a quarterback because Matt Jones and Bailey Zappy or whatever his name is.
Zappy, yeah.
Yeah, whatever his name is. So you going from one situation to the other situation, and it just doesn't make sense. Because at the end of the day, if you're so torn, give us the reason why you hire Arthur Smith in the first place. Then maybe you'll give us some clarity as to why you having this type of fight in your mind. Because to be honest, if playoffs ain't the goal, then how are you telling us as an owner that you really want to win games? That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't,
and then we would have to backtrack too. Smith.
Go ahead.
Now I'm saying we would have to backtrack too because we had a chance to hire Eric Bieniemy. All we had to do was just wait. All we had to do was wait.
Right.
We could have hired him back then. I know he was going to Super Bowl run and everything like that. We could have already had Eric Bieniemy if we just would have waited. But AB didn't want to do that. And you know what I'm saying? So that's why here comes Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot. And I want real quick about Terry Fontenot. I understand that he didn't pick his head coach. And I believe that Terry needs to have full control of to see what he can really do, because I don't want to fire Terry this year and everything, but I have to admit, in about a year or so, I'm gonna be looking at you too, fella. Like, hey, shoot, about time for you to ride too if you ain't doing nothing. I mean, because he deserves a chance because he helped us get out of cap hell. Regardless, he helped us get out of cap hell with the Matt Ryans and the Julio Jones.
You got to also think of it too as and Tidy made a great point about this earlier. He doesn't get a clean slate because he gave Julio that 3 year, $66 million deal.
He did. So I was just about to touch on that. And shout out to Tidy as well, man. I was chatting with him a little bit earlier too, man. So yeah, man. Go ahead. So, yeah. No, I was just saying, like, you're absolutely right. The point that I was going to get to as well is one point that you just made. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you not completely not having your feet held to the fire, though, young man. You know, it's just you have done some good, but you have not done enough. So it's like you've done enough to stay for another year, but next year I need to see this offseason. I need to see things in the draft. I need to see a body of work for you as well. Because if not, shoot, we're gonna need a new GM straight up.
Yeah, and I'm like you, in another year, if things aren't right, I mean, you got to go. And the bad part about it is he's built pretty superior teams in New Orleans, just like I've said about Rich McKay in Tampa Bay. So when y'all get to Atlanta, what's the problem? I mean, if Arthur Blank is not sold on going to get certain type of players, you got to sell him on the reason why y'all need these type of players. Because let's be real about it. No team can function without a guy that's on the field with a couple of screws loose. Let's keep it real, because if you don't have that type of mentality, it's just like getting hit by a bus and not knowing which way to walk afterward.
I just want to see more from him. I believe in Terry. I really do. But I just want to see more from him. Like, I need to, but also he can only do so much as far as where the front office, the people who are over him, give him, you know, so I guess the leash to be able to do things. We don't know exactly what all is going on in that front office. Like I said, when the ink possibly dried, when Terry signed the contract, it could a bunch of things could have possibly changed. But I don't want to take away from the fact that, again, he got us out of cap hell. and the fact that he did help put this defense together. You know what I'm saying? In this offseason right here, he went and made some moves, and we went and got some players. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't say that that Terry needs to be fired, but I just also can't say that his feet aren't a little bit held to the fire. I mean, it's just the truth, man. Because both
Yeah,
of
they
those
got
guys
to be.
came together.
Yeah, they got to be. His feet got to be held to the fire too. And I always say that you shouldn't hire the GM. You should hire the GM before the coach. The Falcons didn't do that.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
that's another.
that's always going to be an argument. But at the same time, the GM still has to do his job. Where I hold Arthur Blank and Rich McKay in this is, if you have a GM that you just hired who knows how to do his job, who was a former vice president in the front office on the Saints, why the hell do you bring in an assistant GM to make his job harder? And I get it, because he brought in Dave Ragone from Chicago. He brought in X amount of Chicago Bears players. So to me, that is a crisscross in communication, and people just not being upfront with each other. And when that happens, that means I want this person, and then everybody's gonna start pointing fingers. I want this person, I want that person, and then the other GM, the assistant, said, "Well, no, I think this person is better. I think this make more sense contract wise." So when you have that type of dysfunction in the front office, this is the kind of product you're going to get. Inconsistent, inconsistent locker room troubles, and all that good stuff. Because it's just like two people trying to be the manager at the same time at a job, and they have two different philosophies. If one philosophy clash with the other philosophy, guess what? It's going to be haywire. And that's exactly what's going on. So if Terry Fontenot is to do his job, let him just do it by himself this year.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's okay to give advice, but
let him be the GM. Stop having all these extra people coming in, because to me, on the outside as a fan looking in, you have all these extra people trying to help him, makes me feel like he cannot accomplish the job. So that's why I want to see what Terry can fully do, because I've seen some progress. Terry has made progress. No one's taken away from anything that Terry has done. We just want to see more. We just want to see if he can hire his own coach, if he can continue to run day-to-day operations without all these extra people all in the Kool-Aid, all in, got their hands all in it too. Let Terry be the GM. That's it. Cut and dry. Let him be the GM, see what he possibly can do, because right now it just seems like he can't fully like he's fully capable of doing the job if you got all these other people helping him make decisions or making decisions over him or whatever is going on in this front office. It's just too many people. The room is too crowded, and some people need to get up out of here and let people do their job if that's what they're hired to do. That's all.
Facts. And you got to think about it too, man. And y'all seen it this year, and I ain't even got to see it. If we had a competent quarterback this year, would have went much better with the players that we have. Because y'all seen it yourself, when the quarterback is doing their job and just making clutch plays when they need to, the Falcons win the football game.
Bro, can defense
has been. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I'm gonna let you finish. The defense has been what now?
The defense has carried this team for most of the year. Oh. So that lets me know that the money they spent wasn't in vain. It's the coaching. So as I look at it, when you have the right coaching in place and the right players, the job can get done. But if you have an inconsistent head coach, the rest of that don't mean nothing, because the head coach is the guy that leads the team, that is the guy that voices heard the most in the locker room, and it's just the quarterback position. So what if Arthur Blank is right that I may give him one more year? Let's go out and go all out for a quarterback and see what we do next year. And it's a double-edged sword, because it may work and it may not work, and it just happens.
And the thing about it is, if it does not work, man, I mean, you already have people selling their season tickets. Announcing that Arthur Smith will be back, that dome, I'm used to calling it the Georgia Dome, but Mercedes-Benz is not going to be. He's going to have to jump through hoops and pull tricks like he's Siegfried and Roy to get that stadium packed again. it's not going to happen because regardless, Arthur Smith at this point is not the popular pick with the fans, with the media. Shoot, even the national media has gotten a hold of it because they officially see what's going on. I'm not saying that this year was supposed to be a Super Bowl year, but if you look at how the year has gone for the NFC, right? You mean to tell me if we had a quarterback competition to find out that we didn't have a quarterback so we could possibly go try to get one? Regardless, if we had a quarterback this season who was competent enough to not turn the ball over 3 times a game, dog, we could have possibly been coming out of the NFC this year, or at least in that championship game against the 49ers or the Eagles, whoever you want to put out there, because I believe that this team with the quarterback is good enough to beat possibly all those other NFC teams, I'm saying, the Lions, and if you end up running into them, the Cowboys. A competent quarterback, I believe we could have got all the way to the NFC Championship game. And it's crazy. We still have an opportunity for the playoffs, slim, but again, I will dial it back and reiterate what I said earlier. We can go to the playoffs. We can win a playoff game. Shoot, we can almost go to the doggone Super Bowl, and I'm just out on Arthur Smith. I just have seen enough. I know we're not going to get that far anyway, not with this coach. I just don't believe that. Not with this coach and quarterback combination. I don't believe that, because you are what you are at this point of the season. But guys, we were supposed to be in the playoffs like top seed, like confident, like, hey, it's a chance we can possibly, going back to that 2016 season. Remember how you felt when the Falcons were a top seed and you was like, okay, all right, y'all, it's a possibility we can do some things with this offense. And then imagine how you felt when we was taking care of business against the Green Bay Packers and realizing that, hey, this offense and this team is going to the Super Bowl. We could have had similar, things or similar feelings this year, y'all. It's a possibility. You never know, and we're never going to know. But with a quarterback and this offense, with that defense playing how they're playing and them being able to get off the field a little bit and stay off the field, because they were on the field way too much this year. So give them some rest. Give us a quarterback. Give us competent offense. What? This season has been a complete failure. And I'm sorry, I just can't.
And the crazy part about it, they've done it without Grady Jarrett.
Indeed, they've done it without Grady Jarrett. They've done it without our special teamer, Avery Williams. I know that may be a small name to some, but my thing is they've been rotating guys in that special team position since he tore his ACL. So it's just like you had that situation going on. You got guys on defense missing games. This team is still, built to win. This team is still built to win, and you got to go back this offseason, retool a few things, definitely get you a quarterback, offensive coordinator, and a head coach. Or if you are cool with keeping Arthur Smith as your head coach, I have no gripe with anybody who feels that way. That's just not
Demetrius. I was going to point on that next. This is Demetrius brings up the key point in everything.
Damn right. That's the point.
This is a win now. This is a win now team, and they built it that way this offseason. So if things didn't work out, you just add a couple more pieces. It's like add and subtract. You take away the older guys, put in younger guys, and possibly put in more veterans. But if you're a win now team,
we had the weakest schedule.
Yeah, if you're a win now team, this is even more reason to go out and get a new head coach.
You feel me?
Belichick.
This is like the weakest schedule in like NFL history in like the last 10 to 15 years or something like that for the NFC South, especially the Falcons. And it's like, come on, dog. Regardless, you wet the bed as far as the head coach and staff on getting this team over the hump. You have right now, I don't see how you don't feel like Arthur Smith has reached his ceiling. We've won 7 games for 3 straight years with a possibility of an 8th, but guess what? We haven't had not one winning season. We haven't even won 3 games in a row with this man. So I'm just like little things here and there, man. You got to look at everything with him. Everything, not just don't be out here just saying, the players, he can't go out there and catch the ball, he can't go out there and run the ball. You're absolutely correct. Absolutely. But he schemes everything. Why is everybody on one side of the field? Why are people confused on the play and you're not calling a timeout, pulling everybody together as a leader of men, saying, hey, look, this was going on. Come on, y'all. Let's get it together. Let's show some emotion. We don't get none of that.
Right.
So I'm just saying, there's so many things I can pick out.
They were saying it in 2001. I'm sorry, 2021.
This is not a rebuild.
We're still in the same position.
They were saying this is not a rebuild.
This is one of the most frustrating
shout out
things.
To Wolf in the chat too. I seen what he was saying, just lies from this team. I mean, it's facts though.
And Miss Angela said not one game over 30 points.
You
go out and draft a top offensive player in 3 straight drafts, you should be able to put up points on the board. And
man, we put up over 30 points with less talent, bro. Right. We put up in his regime, we've put up over 30 points with less talent. How are we not putting up 40 points with this talent?
We put up 30 points in the game a couple of years ago when Amadeus Akias was the #1 receiver. Just think about that. Just think about that.
What my man said, don't worry, I'll wait.
It's just crazy, man. And the easy thing about the easy thing that I think they could turn around is just go out and take chances this offseason. Because as I've told you, if you're gonna go get a veteran, Russell Wilson is out there. And if you're gonna start over, just move all the way up the board as far as you can. To go get one of the top quarterbacks. Sometimes you're going to have to take a chance if you want to win football games. Look at what the Rams did the other 2 years ago. The Rams went out and got a lot of key free agents, veterans, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl. They had Von Miller, they had Matthew Stafford, they drafted Cooper Kupp, so they had everything in the right place. So you got to take a page from that book, at some point. Go out and get what you need and, do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's just this whole torn thing. It just doesn't give you confidence as a fan of the Atlanta Falcons. It just makes you feel like we just want to be mediocre. It just feels like we just want to continue to be mediocre. I understand you can't just keep firing coaches and personnel, staff, whatever in the case, man. I get that. I really do. Because having consistency somewhere is very important in anything that you do. So I get it.
Yeah, but consistency start upstairs in the front office. If they are consistent in the front office, and that's why I never
took the words right out of my mouth.
I didn't like the former ownership because of what they did while I was coming up and not trying to build a winner. Mm-hmm. That's what I love about Arthur Blank the most. He has always put this team in a position to be advertised more than they ever have throughout their existence. And for him not to put the right coach in place, that's what's so disheartening about it, because if you're advertising this team the right way and putting the coach in the right spot to succeed, it should not be a problem to bring in top flight players, top flight coaches. And that's why taking a chance on a coach, like a Bill Belichick, like another guy, I don't want Ben Johnson because I'm not paying him $15 million. He hadn't been a head coach before. But I could see Steve Wilkes being a coach. I could see Mike Tomlin, Eric Bieniemy, those guys coming in to be coaching. And the reason why I've said Mike Tomlin over and over is because you think about the culture he's been in the last damn near 20 years. You think about structure.
17 seasons, baby.
Structure is something that this team in Atlanta has lacked for a long time. Once they did get structure, it went in a tailspin, because guess what? You could not hold on to the culture that you should have held on to keep this team winning at a consistent level for years to come. So when you see things like that, just keep constantly dropping the ball. It's just time to make a move to put something consistent in place to make this a winning organization year after year. And it can be done. Just don't think it can't, because the 49ers were once bad. But guess what? They fixed their front office, put the right guys in the front office, and they went on Super Bowl runs for damn near a decade and a half. Just think about that. So, it just starts at the top.
Winning teams want to make winning moves, man. So you also
right.
You look at the Philadelphia Eagles. I understand they're on a little slide right now, but regardless, they've made moves to put their team in the best situation that they possibly can. 49ers,
right.
like you just said, look what the Ravens did. Oh, let's first of all, let's take care of our quarterback, and then let's go get him an OC that can use his skill set to the maximum of that we possibly can. Now we have Lamar Jackson possibly for to win his second MVP.
And what I love about that situation in particular, the offensive coordinator difference from last year to this year, the offensive coordinator this year actually let him run his own plays and what he's comfortable with, instead of calling plays where he uses his legs. And y'all got to remember, he hadn't even had receivers until this year. They go out and draft Zay Flowers. They go out and they still have Rashad Bateman. Mark Andrews get hurt. What does that mean? They just keep on ticking. So if you put your quarterback,
Likely is like that. No, I was just saying, because Isaiah Likely, he is like that for them. And they even still got Odell out there running around. So it's just like, saying Monken, I hated that he had to leave Georgia, but it was a great situation. And then again, they went and got Chuck Smith, brought him up there to help that defense, man. And that's what I'm saying. The Ravens right now looking like one of the best teams, if not the best team in football right now. And it's all about going to go get the right moves. They got rid of their offensive coordinator last year, went and got Todd Monken. Lamar Jackson is on the way to his second MVP. Like they're already done clinched their division. They sitting them down, about to give them rest. That's what you want at the end of the season anyway, to be able to sit down, rest P players if you choose to.
But William Amos.
What's up, Will?
Shout out to Will, man. Will been sick and under the weather. Hope he's doing better, man. But
just about to say,
clean house by Monday. The only thing with that, if you clean house Monday, how much house are you cleaning? Who are you getting rid of? That's gonna be key. Because if you keep Terry Fontenot, the GM,
who should be kept, by the way, who should be kept,
who's he's gonna bring in to make a difference on his team, to let us know that he's the right guy for this job. And the only way I see that playing out is going out and get a veteran guy. And that's why a veteran coach makes so much sense. And don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with a first year guy. But at some point, you just got to change the way you think. The last 5 coaches for the Falcons have been guys that this is their first time around. They've had their highs with Dan Quinn. They've had their lows with Bobby Petrino. So rise above all that. Go get a guy that's going to lead this team and give these players, keep these players motivated. And if you can do that, I think you have no problem, man. I think you have no problem.
I'm just saying, like you got guys again going back to your Mike Tomlin. And I mean, you can even say the same about Bill Belichick. I understand he had Tom Brady. So technically, kind of like for me, I think Tomlin is the better example, just because Tomlin hasn't always, outside of Ben Roethlisberger, you know what I'm saying? Tomlin has been rotating quarterbacks since Ben Roethlisberger, and still some kind of way finding a way to not in 17 seasons to have a one losing season. We have a coach who has came in and damn near all his seasons have been failures. Like damn near all of them. And then mind you, our last game is going to be on CBS. And for those who care about it, CBS has not been too kind to us this year. We're 0-5 on CBS. And since 2021, we are like 2-7. 2-7 on CBS.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't believe in no station curse, and the reason why the only curse is the coach not being prepared and not preparing his team the proper way. But Padre, man, he said, "What's good, fellas? Do you think they could secure Gruden or Harbaugh if we part ways with Smith?" And see, that's the key thing.
I would love Harbaugh.
I would love Harbaugh, but both of those guys have been in the media the a couple of years, and you don't want that PR nightmare. If you can sustain and get through that PR nightmare, I would love it. And because as I've looked at it, Jim Harbaugh, he the one put Colin Kaepernick on the map. He had an Alex Smith, and he built the San Francisco team that was Mike Singletary's team.
Yes, it was.
So as I look at it, Harbaugh does make sense. And to be honest, if he wins a national title on Monday night, I could see Jim Harbaugh going to Atlanta or to another NFL team. I mean, it's just a given because.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was about to say I say either Atlanta or LA Chargers. I still be about to call them San Diego. My goodness, but but yeah,
man, I'm glad you brought that up because that's what y'all got to think about as well. There are going to be about 7 to 8 coaching vacancies open, and a lot of these veteran coaches are going to go to the best position that fits them, that they don't have to do a lot of work, and a lot of these teams already have their quarterback in place. That's why Los Angeles is probably the best looking situation right now because they have Justin Herbert. Yes, he got hurt this year, but going into next year, he has the weapons. He has everything on offense. They have a decent defense, but I think that's something that they need to build on this offseason. But it's going to be all about the quarterback being in place. And if the new head coach can come into Atlanta, put his quarterback in place that he's comfortable with, I think that makes the most sense in the world. So whoever you hire, let them go out to get the quarterback that they want, not who you want, but who they want. So just think about that, man.
Yeah, that's a great point too. And just to go back to your point about LA being a great spot, even though it's questions at wide receiver, I know Keenan Allen is getting a little bit up there. Still a great wide receiver, by the way, when healthy. But you also have questions with Mike Williams. But those are easy fixes because guess what? You have your field general. So that's another good spot. And then plus, it's wonderful weather in California. If you've never been, you got to get out there. And so it's just wonderful weather out there too. And that's another thing we have to wonder about. Harbaugh, Belichick, all that, stuff like that. Those coaches may want to go out there. We'll see. But hey, the Atlanta Falcons have a very great situation down here too. So we have all we need is the coaching and the quarterback. It's a great situation. We're a dome team, so we got good hot wings, good culture, all that good stuff like that. We just ready to win, y'all. We got everything we need down here. We just want championships now.
Hey, I'm still not getting no hot wings from Magic City. I'm sorry. I don't want no booty crumbs in my food.
Come on, man. You gotta get some of that juice.
No, I don't want that juice on it, man. No. D, I'm gonna be real with you, D. It ain't about being emotional and desperate. It's about change at the end of the day. Everybody wants to see change, and on the way change comes about. On the way when it comes about, sometimes is because of change. And like I said earlier, if y'all missed it, I don't have anything against Arthur Smith, but he hasn't grown in 3 years. In the third year of your coaching tenure, you should have your what's that word I'm looking for?
Just have everything in place.
Everything in place, but there's a word that I'm particularly looking for. But you should have your system in place. At this point, you should have it where you only have to plug in a couple of pieces to take your offense to the next level. And to be honest, if he does stay, like I said earlier, quarterback might be the only thing he needs, which is why I'm going out to get a veteran, which is why I'm going up the draft board if I can't do that. Because if you can go out up the draft board, get one of those top guys, that's 4 to 5 years. You're never gonna have to worry about a quarterback. You can keep building the rest of your team while that quarterback contract comes up. That gives you a 5-year window. And if they could get a guy like a Justin Herbert talent, like a Drake May, say he comes in and plays just like Herbert and throw 30 touchdowns his rookie season, and Arthur Smith can get him to do that, that would be a great move. But if they bring in a coach, and Arthur Smith has shown us it's tough for him to develop a quarterback, that sets us back 5 years. So that is why.
And that goes to that point I was saying. I was like, man, it comes down to that to where, and that's a good point though. He may not get fired. He may not. We do have to be prepared for that as Falcons fans, that he may not get fired. But it also, like I was saying, going back to him, like the body of work, his body of work says that he should be fired. But because Arthur Blank is possibly thinking, if I can just get him a quarterback, if I can just get him somebody competent who's not going to be turning over the ball, whether if it's from fumbling, interceptions, whatever. If I can just get him somebody competent, I believe that he can be able to take this team to exactly where we want it to. Because, you know,
Octavius Dixon, I agree. We need to shore up that offensive line. And I can see us going that direction in the draft in the top 10. So if they draft the offensive lineman in the top 10, I wouldn't be surprised because Jake Matthews could he could move to the right side or he could move out the door. That's his choice. But Ms. Angela said we regressed in 3 years. I disagree with that.
No,
and the only reason why I don't agree with that, I think we will regress this year because he won the same amount of games with less talent.
There you go.
And less money on the books. So that is my main reason for why.
Or more points with less talent.
Right. He could get the boot because he's done less with more, and that's not good in that field. So they regressed this year. Not the first 2 years because we really didn't expect things the first 2 years. But
nobody was really calling for his head at the beginning of this season either. Even when we were 2-1, there wasn't anyone that was just saying, oh, yeah, let's go ahead and just fire him now. It was when we're starting to see that this is your ceiling, that you're not going to be able to go no further. And we continue to lose to one-win teams. We're losing to one-win teams. You know, it like, I don't know how do you even not consider that as a collapse or some kind of debacle with your team. You're losing to teams who nobody else is losing to, and you end up being that team. It was just like if you guys who watch basketball, it was just like the same thing with the Detroit Pistons. You did not want to be that team to end up giving them a win after losing 29 straight. So it's just like you didn't want to be that team, but the Atlanta Falcons twice under your tutelage was that team.
Yep. Big Low Country. Shout out to Big Low Country, man. Y'all go
Shout
check
out
him
to
out.
Low. What in world, Bo?
Big Low Country Sports, man. He's absolutely correct. His wife had been calling for the Falcons to fire Arthur Smith like me last year. So, I mean, because one thing about it, you can make all the moves you want and you can do this and do that. But one thing about it, there are going to be some fans that's going to see the same thing you see. And if I saw this last year with a lot of other things that I've been thinking that has come in the past, that's why I say the things I say. Because 9 times out of 10, you can be right, you can be wrong. But at the end of the day, it's just your opinion. And Coach Rona, she's been saying it so long that I had to jump on board with her because the Lord tell you. Last year I talked about Justin Fields not being in Chicago because they hadn't given him the proper head coach to make him, the quarterback that he needs to be. I see people online saying Justin Fields is a bust. But how can you expect a quarterback to be a superstar talent when he hasn't had the right coach to help him progress, help him learn to read defense, and help him anticipate throws? His saving grace has been his athletic ability. So
I'll be very surprised to see the Bears move on from Justin Fields at this point.
It would be a mistake.
Especially if this happens. Now, real quick, playoff picture. The Packers, they're still in the playoff picture, right? If the Bears are eliminated, even though they beat us, they're eliminated. If Justin Fields goes out here and beats the Packers on the last day of the year, of the regular season, knowing that they ain't got nowhere else to go, but they hold the Packers from getting into the playoffs, I'm sorry. Right. There's no way you get rid of him because you just look what you just did within the division. Look at your body of work really since Montez Sweat. Look at the Bears since Montez Sweat. Like they've won 6 in a row at home. Justin Fields is looking like a world beater. DJ Moore, it looks like, he is a number 1 receiver. All you do is go add to that. You go put a Marvin Harrison Jr. on that team and Cole Kmet and DJ Moore. go sure up that line a little bit. My goodness, the Chicago Bears. So it's just like I wouldn't trade him. It'd be very surprised. I would be very, very shocked to really see. And by the way, I don't mind having Justin Fields. I would just be shocked if the Bears get rid of him at this point when you can just go add pieces around him. But if y'all want to get rid of him, hey, man, bring him on down here. We'll see what he can do. But I don't think with the same coaching staff, that's all.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing.
That same coaching staff.
We ain't said nothing about Arthur Smith getting fired. We were saying the reason why we think he should be fired and why the Falcons should move on. It's the media pushing it. And if the media is pushing it, I'm going to talk about it. It's just that simple.
I think Wolf is saying that the whole story about him being torn is just another lie from the. I can believe that Arthur is getting fired
because, like I'm telling y'all, man, you just don't make this decision with 1 to 2 weeks left. This has to be in your mind 5 to 6 games before the last game. And as I told y'all, the game that I think should have sealed his fate was the Minnesota game. And the reason why I say that, you have a quarterback traded to another team only 5 days in the system, and you mean to tell me you can't prepare to take that quarterback down? And he's not a tight flight quarterback. His athletic ability just killed you, which means that lets me know you didn't game plan for this quarterback. If you had game plan for Josh Dobbs, you should have blown the Minnesota Vikings out. And they played well enough to win the game. But guess what? They let improvisation from the head coach on the other team and a quarterback on the other team decide what they wanted to do instead of what they needed to do. So that game right there, it sealed his fate for me. I'm sorry. And if y'all think if y'all actually think that this just came around the last 2 to 3 weeks, you sorely mistaken. Trust me.
Pull up that from that Buki, man. This question about the what if Arthur Smith doesn't get fired. Now he says, or they say, I'm not sure exactly. I don't want to get that wrong, but what if Arthur Smith don't get fired and we don't draft a quarterback in the first round? How would y'all feel? Well, I ain't gonna lie to you. That just lets me know that Desmond Ridder will be our starting quarterback at the beginning of the season yet again. I believe they will go back in and try to work and retool with Desmond or something like that because it's not going to be Taylor. So it would be Desmond Ridder as our quarterback starting the beginning of the year with Arthur Smith as our head coach. And you might as well bring Dave Ragone back too if you're just going to do all that. So right. That's pretty much where I'm at with it if that was to happen. We don't draft a quarterback. Or if you don't get a quarterback at all, let's not even just say just draft. Let's say if you don't go get a quarterback at all, because you can trade for one. But if you don't go get a quarterback at all, it's going to be good old Desmond Ridder running out there, number 9, running out there for the Falcons week 1. With Arthur Smith as the head coach, trying to see if we can do it all over again.
Yep.
That's what's going on.
Something just never changed, man. And
hey, man, creatures of habit. I don't say that plenty of time. People be creatures of habit, man.
But I'm gonna tell you, man. My boy Berto, he just texted me, and he said, "What? He just came across something. Would you guys like the Falcons to go out to Mike Vrabel from Tennessee if he's fired?" And that's a great name to throw out there. I didn't even think about it because I thought Mike Vrabel was safe because of what's been transpiring.
Oh, well, you know what? He was safe. I know when he was safe. He was safe after that 4-touchdown game against the Atlanta Falcons. That's when he was safe. But since then, what has Will Levis done? Anybody? I can tell you what he hasn't done. Thrown 4 touchdowns against anybody else. He come on, y'all. Come on, man.
And the crazy thing about it, I just talked about Mike Tomlin earlier.
Man, I like Mike Vrabel
fits that. Mike Vrabel fits that same mold. You talk about structure. You talk about culture. He played in New England, won Super Bowls in New England, and he's also played for the Steelers. So he plays for two championship organizations. So he knows how to win.
He's a
And
no
I hate to
nonsense
say
type
it,
of
I
guy.
would I would love it, but I'm gonna be real. He's coming from Tennessee, same place that Arthur Smith come from. So is
Mhm.
he too been beneficial of Derrick Henry? That's something to think about. I probably would love him as a defensive coordinator, but as a head coach, I would probably have to pass on that. And don't get me wrong, he's won a lot of games in Tennessee. He's done what he's needed to do. But after getting rid of one Tennessee coach and trying to go out and get another who's had Derrick Henry as well, that would concern me just a little bit. And I'm
That
not
would
saying he
concern
can't
me
do
a
the job.
lot. I'm like, why you keep going back to this Tennessee well is what I'd be trying to figure out. Like, what's up? What's up? What you like so much about them? For real, for real.
Like I said, I might be wrong. He could come in and do a better job than Arthur Smith because, like I said, he's been to two championship organizations, won Super Bowls, and he played in the NFL a very long time. And with the right coaching staff, um, I think he possibly could. But
As
Tennessee,
the
I
head
mean,
coach,
yeah,
I'm just saying,
I
as
mean,
the head
Berto,
coach.
I get where you coming from, but another Tennessee coach, I would just have to pump my brakes on that just a little bit. But
You'll be twisting my arm with it just because it just gives me, I don't know, man, it just gives me bad vibes. I just feel like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I feel like he's an upgraded version of Arthur Smith. You know what I'm saying? He's going to show some emotion. He's no nonsense. He's going to fight for his guys. But it's just like, I don't know, man. You kind of twisted my arm with that one. That's a great point, though. I like the point, but I don't want to keep going and getting all these Tennessee guys, these Chicago guys. Can we just go get our guys? Can we find our own people? Can we just put our own thing together? And if it means getting other pieces from other places, cool. But some of these people that we're talking about are just washing them out, wringing them out, reusing them. Like, I really want
yep.
to go get something. I want greatness for the Atlanta Falcons. Mike Tomlin, Bill Belichick, stuff like that. I want greatness for this team. I'm just tired of just going to go get like the mediocre people or the people who have not done. What have you done? Like, really? That's where we get into it again. We're going back to totalities. It's like, what have you done with the Tennessee Titans? Like, yeah, you
Yep.
got playoffs and all that stuff like that, but what have you really done? Like, I
My
mean, you
point
got
exactly.
playoff experience, you got playoff wins, but since then, like the last 2-3 seasons, what have you done? So it's like
Been
I don't want
tough.
to bring that. I don't want to bring that to me and be mediocre all over again. Possibly, I want to go get greatness. If you have to go get Belichick, if you have to go get Tomlin, and you have to, you know, what I'm saying, like, I don't want to give away draft picks, but it's a possibility you may have to give up a draft pick for one of these great coaches that you're talking about
And one
to
of the
be
oldest
great.
sayings in the book is you got to pay
Right.
the cost to be the boss.
Right. To
Just
be
that simple.
great, you have to make sacrifices. You not gonna win jack shit playing it safe. I'm just sorry. Like, I don't know how it's going from just being correct to you just have to go out here and just make decisions. You have to make moves, bro. You have to make moves. We have seen all the time as Falcon fans, other teams within the division, within the conference, outside of the conference, making moves, making bold moves, getting
Yep.
rid of people. All I'm saying is McDaniels with the Raiders, he didn't get a long time. He didn't. Why? Because guess what? His body of work. Only thing you
And
have
not
done
on
with
that,
things with the
he sealed
Patriots.
his own fate
Look
though,
at his
Chris. I'm
head
gonna keep it
coaching
real.
experience.
He sealed his own fate. So I'm gonna keep it real. The
Then look what
GM
you
wanted
did to the Colts. You don't think
the
people
G.
remember that
No,
too?
I'm saying this year the GM wanted CJ Stroud, but he vetoed it. So he
Right.
didn't want CJ Stroud, so he cost himself his job.
Right. That's what
Um,
I'm saying, bro. Your body of work, your decision making, your
right.
situational play call, everything, bro. What is your body of work? It's not a lot of guys out here that I'm willing to throw a boatload of money at if their body of work or if they don't have some kind of pedigree to them. And I don't want to keep going and getting, first of all, first year head coaches trying to make it always work. We need to go get an experienced head coach, in my opinion. If we get a rookie head coach, at least let them be something that can possibly do something. I don't know, but I'm just over rookie head coaches at this point. And I want to go get somebody with some experience, somebody that know what the heck they're doing. That's all, man. And I shouldn't shouldn't no one try to make me feel bad for that. Shouldn't no one feel bad for feeling that way. We just want greatness in Atlanta. We have a defense. We have a team that all we need is competence and greatness at quarterback. It don't even have to be greatness at quarterback. Give me someone who's not going to turn the ball over, though. Give me somebody who's going to coach up the guys, who's going to be right there in the guys, rather than when they're right, and when they're wrong, they're wrong. And either way, he's going to be in their face, and he's going to uplift them or correct them. I want a leader of men.
All right, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath.
Bro, I'm just saying, bro. What goodness.
But
hey, man, why not us?
We're gonna close it out on this last thought, man. Ms. Anderson, can you imagine Tomlin, Justin Fields, Eric Bieniemy as the offensive coordinator? That would be one hell of a squad on offense and calling plays.
I ain't gonna lie, I love that.
I would love that, but awesome. It's probably a 40% chance that happens. But like I said, you can spend all the money you want. But man, it's been a great show. And Bobby Carroll said, "We need Bill Belichick." I would go for it. I'm just telling you.
I wouldn't be mad at it. Maybe he's tired of being in the cold and want to get into a better weather situation. We got a nice little dome and we like to keep that thing warm, Bill. Come on down. That's all. For real, family. But again, I understand what's going on out there, but that's greatness. That's pedigree, what I'm talking about with Bill Belichick.
Shout it out, man. This has been a great show, man. We reached the hour point and we were only supposed to go about 30 minutes, but the conversation got so deep, and thanks to y'all in the chat for doing that. We appreciate y'all as always, and we'll see what happens. But we'll see y'all tomorrow post game.
Almost forgot. If y'all haven't done it yet, I'm telling y'all by midnight, you know what I'm saying, you're not going to be able to do any more entries. But we got that giveaway. Man. Get your Georgia Dome 50-year anniversary cup. Just got to go on Twitter. Make sure you guys following me, myself, also Smooth Smitty right next to me, and our brother Berto, who is on the road doing his thing. Make sure you following us on Twitter and retweet it with your X factors for tomorrow's game against the New Orleans Saints. And it's a possibility you may win one of these cups, man. 3 winners will be selected. 3 random winners will be selected. And we will get your information so you can get one of these cups, because they don't make these no more. Not from the Georgia Dome.
Nope.
Yes, sir.
Nope. Once in a lifetime opportunity. But as I was saying before, man, catch us tomorrow on the post game Falcons Saints. I know it's gonna be a lot because either the Falcons win or lose. I know y'all gonna come through and show the page some love. So y'all had them questions, them comments ready, because on Sundays we always open up the chat because we always want to catch y'all vibe of how y'all feeling about the team. So we'll see what happens, man. But tomorrow is going to be, to me, I think the final chapter of this book, man. I just think it's going to be a new head coach in 2024. And I may be wrong, but it's just my opinion. And that's just the way I'm feeling right now.
Bow our heads and let us pray. Bow our heads and let us
my
pray.
Boy said on roll bounce. I'm silent for a face, please. But yeah, man, it's been a great show, man. And we're gonna hit that home run and we're gonna knock it on out the park, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. I think about 4:30, 5 o'clock after the game, and we'll talk then. My boy Chris Moore, my boy Alberto, who's on the road, as he said, 95 North Sports Machine keeps rolling on. And as always, man, we're gonna hit y'all with that dope outro because that's what we do.